Hello, YouTube. Welcome to another edition of the Frankenstein of the Witchcraft comic, which is Roger's book from Jitterbug Comics. And last upload, what we did, we just had a preliminary overview of the book and what we were looking to do. So as you can see, this is in pretty rough shape. And in fact, there is a piece right here that was in the bag that was not a part of the front cover. And the main goal with this book is to make it readable for Roger, that you can thumb through the book. And we're going to marry it to the back cover of this book right here, which is, according to Roger's research, the same back cover that should have been on this book. So look at this. This is really in rough shape, the donor book. So we're going to have to do a lot of work on this to make sure that everything goes well. So what I want to do first is I want to assess the cover, because just by looking at it, there are pieces flaking off as we speak. And that is not a good situation for what I want to do, or at least the conservation of this book, because brittle books or brittle pages are not good, or are not a good friend to the conservation process. Look at that artwork, the devil. This is some good stuff. So let's put the book aside. We're going to deal with the book later. I can feel just by thumbing through the pages that this is a very brittle book, not in the best of shape. We have some rusty staples. We're going to have to address all these issues, and we will, I'm confident. Now, we are dealing with, like I said, a bunch of flaked off pieces. I'll tell you right now, Roger, that the reality of keeping them may be there, but I don't think so. Because if you recall watching my upload with the Action Comics 66, I did try to save the pieces of that cover, but it was unsuccessful. So what do we want to do? The first thing that we want to do is, I see right here there are pieces that are bent over, and maybe we will have a shot of saving them. But the first thing that I want to do is I just want to put some humidity in this book, or into the front cover, because we are going to dry clean the book. That's going to be one of our first steps, is to go over the book with my erasers. And if the camera's picking it up, look at all that dirt that came off just by dry cleaning it. And you always want to dry clean it first in order to get the surface dirt off, and to clean it up a little bit before doing any type of aqueous treatment. But what I want to do is I just want to get a little moisture back in this cover, and we're going to let it sit for a few days in my humidity chamber. And then what I'll do is I will go over the book and I will clean it up with dry cleaning methods, so we can at least attempt to remove some of the surface dirt that is on the book. As you can see, look at the dirt that came off. Now, this is the first time that I am working on a book through this manufacturer or publisher. This is an Avon publication, I never worked on an Avon book, so I just want to look at the dirt that comes up. You know what? I'm going to revamp it. What I'm going to do is just go over the book gently right now, just with my makeup pads, and we're going to try to remove the surface dirt. And as you can see, look at that dirt that came off. So we can do it now. The book is strong enough to at least rub the pads over the cover. And you see how I always start from one direction and move away, and I want to hold my fingers on the one side that I am pulling the makeup pad away, because this book is very delicate, and if you rub the pad the wrong direction, you'll break a piece of the cover off. So I am nicely removing some of the surface dirt, and it's just going to be a quick little cleaning. I'm not going to go crazy with my erasers at this point, because I don't think we're going to really use many aggressive techniques to clean this cover. I think the way to clean this cover is probably through a aqueous bath. But what I want to do is look at that nice skull. What I want to do is I just want to take some of the surface dirt off with the pads to try to remove as much as possible. And look at that. Some of the color on the pads undoubtedly is portions of the ink of the graphics that are coming off, but that's okay. We also want to remove the years of dirt that are on this book. So we did a nice job. I know it wasn't super thorough, but that's all I want to do at this point. So what I want to do now is I want to set up my humidity chamber, and we're going to put the book in, or at least the front cover, and then we are going to let it sit in the humidity chamber for a good 24 plus hours to probably help bring some moisture back into this front cover. So stay tuned. Okay guys, we are back, and I do have my humidity chamber. I'm going to put a little water in the chamber, and then what I have here is a trusty piece of Ramee paper. So what I want to do is I want to gently place the cover on the Ramee paper, and we're going to let it sit in the chamber for probably 1 to 2 days. And the goal in doing this will be to try to make it where I can flip over these bended pieces of the cover, or bent pieces of the cover, so we can start flattening it out and getting it ready to do the dry cleaning. And then after the dry cleaning, we'll do the actual wet cleaning. And the wet cleaning is very important. And this book also looks like perhaps it will need a deacidification as well, but I haven't decided yet. In addition to moisturizing the cover, we're going to also put in the actual donor book that we're going to use. I'm going to put that in as well. And right now, what I'm going to do is I just broke the back cover off because it was a split spine. There was just a little section that was holding it together. And we're going to start the process of Frankensteining this together so we can make Roger a complete book. And it's going to be a fun process. So there is your complete book via Frankenstein methods. And this apparently was the correct back cover that was used for this publication. And I know Roger knows his stuff, so I have no reason to doubt him. So let's put a piece of Rimet paper on top. And then what I'm going to do is I will close it up. And we will keep it in here, like I said, for a few days. And then we'll open it up shortly. And then we'll see how it turns out. And then also what I like to do, and let me focus in a little bit more or focus out so you can see what I'm talking about. Here is the humidity chamber. So what I like to do is I like to take blue tape and I just like to put a piece on the seam of the humidity chamber, just like that. And I go all around just to close the seal of the humidity chamber to keep the moisture in there better so it doesn't escape, and it will humidify the publication that's in there. So I'll do the back and I'll go around the whole book, and hopefully we will remove some of the brittleness of this paper so we can do the dry cleaning a little bit more aggressive and then an aqueous bath. So that's it for this upload, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to be very detail orientated with this book. I am going to show step by step what I do, because this is not a book that CGC is ever going to look at least when it's in the possession of Roger. And now I feel a little unfettered, where I am not working with the prying eyes of CGC watching, or perhaps a fellow conservationist who may like to report to CGC what I do. So stay tuned.